Namaste, Brick. So you are not knowing the class was that we have started. Right?
Hey, Vindo. So good to see you and hear from you again. So it's every day on,
Except Saturday, every day, the same time.
except Saturday. Okay, all right.
Saturday Indian time, that will be Friday morning for you, or
Now,
Saturday morning for you. I think so.
yeah, Saturday's this. Yeah, same Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
it
glad.
must be Sunday morning for you.
Yeah, it's Sunday at 11 right now. Yeah, a.m. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Namaste, Samar. So
So.
after a long gap.
If I get to talking to you, Vindo, I'm going to get too excited, and then I'll be rambling on about things I've been seeing lately. But I am going to get you personally. I'll try to get with you soon, sometime. I just want to share some things that I've been able to see lately that connected with my understanding of the Bible, and so I won't bore everybody here with that now. So.
You're always welcome. Namaste, Saurabh.
But I will ask you this while we're getting started here. Am I seeing this wrong, Bindo, in that it seems very simplified as to how I see it now? That the nady is just seeing oneself. It's just seeing yourself is all that needs to take place, and over time, uh, this is the renewing of the mind. The Bible says, Apostle Paul says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind so that you can see God's will, right? So
Right.
it's like seeing until it's like being present, seeing yourself, seeing what you're not until Seikaha. See how simple that is?
Yeah, how it's really simple. That is you are really understood it. Only thing is that it should come to us as a default all the time, because it is not an exercise and the outcome of an exercise, but rather than it's a shift in our identity. From the human identity, we should shift our identity to the identity of that knowingness. That is what it is all about. Namaste, Prakash.
Pranam Bindoji, Hari Om.
Pranav.
Namaste,
Hari
Brak.
Om.
Hari Om.
Namaste,
I'll just
Madhir.
go ahead.
Yeah, you can announce that class because so the others need not wait.
Yes. Namaste, everyone. Welcome to Advaita Vedanta House, Satsang House. Today, being Sunday, we have a session with Bindoji. It's an open discussion. So please raise your hands or put your question in the chat. And we have an hour and a half with Bindoji. So thank you very much, Bindoji. Over to you to start the session. I think Brek is already here. Namaste, Brek.
Yes. Namaste, Srini.
So, Bindo, I'll ask you this question, and then is because I've heard this for years now, like 4 or 5 years since I've been coming in these rooms, and about the no doership. And even I read half of J.K.'s book, Freedom from the Known, and now I'm doing a book reading on I Am That by Maharaj, right? By Maharaj.
Yes. Nisargadatta Maharaj.
Right, and both of them are saying there's nothing to do but there's a but there.
Hmm.
You have to see yourself. So there's nothing to do but seeing. So is this seeing that there's nothing to do but focus? Is that the right way to see that?
It is not that way. We are always identifying with the image of what we have been known, created by what has been fed into our memories. And it is a natural process because when the memory started or where it started, all those things are very difficult to, pinpoint or where is the beginning. Those things are, we can never, being within in the time, remaining within the time, we can never find the beginning of time. So what happens, what is being said is that let us not waste our time on finding out, what caused me to become a human being or my human experience or identity with the body mind complex as an individual and the related, image which we are holding on to today. So all the doership, enjoyership is based on that image only. Really speaking, we are not that because that image is a matter of subject known to us. The knower of that my name is Brecht is a sound and that sound is known to me. I am not the name. Okay, now am I the human being? As per the human being, what aspect of human being am I? The body, the mind, the intellect, or the sense organs, or anything that is in the physical body? Everything in the physical body is objectifiable or known to me. Therefore, I am the knower beyond the physical body also. Yet, my default fallback option is to the body sensory objects and the body mind intellect complex. Somehow I am not able to get out of that. Apart from that, there is also a issue of the word I. The word I is also a nomenclature. It's a name given when I am assuming myself to be the image which I am, the human being. But at the same time, that is also a content of my knowledge. I am knower of that. Therefore, the identification, which we call it as the individuality or the ego, is the last resort on which we can identify ourselves. We will hold on to that even when we are negating everything else. But what is the nature of that ego or the identity as the individual? When I say ego, people normally immediately take the wrong connotation of the term ego. But ego is not the ego what I'm talking about. It is the individuality identification. But that individuality identification for me is a content in my awareness. But I am not able to know the awareness in which that content is also appearing. Because why I am saying it's a content in the awareness? Because when the awareness changes from the waking experience to the dream, the nature of the I also changes, that individuality or the ego. And when I am in my deep sleep, I do not have an individuality at all. But all the three are in my awareness. When I say in my awareness, there the individuality has no role to play. Because I am in the deep sleep where the individuality is not there. That also I am. So where is this I am, the word I, anchored up? Where do we begin the, understanding of or knowing that where it is happening. This is the place where we come to a blind wall type of a situation which we cannot cross or see through, or, as if stuck in time and space. This is exactly the last point when we come from neti, when we negate everything. But we are still aware of everything that is gone through, and even the helplessness with which we are now looking at the blind wall. There, still the individuality is not lost. It is this reason why it becomes difficult for us to go to the other side of the wall, because we are not willing to drop the identity as individuality. That is where all the effort is required. Until then, it is only 5%. But at the same time, when J.K. or Nisargadatta Maharaj or Ramana Maharshi or the Upanishads say that you are already that, you don't have to go on the other side of the wall. There is nothing there on the other side or this side. Then what is that? It is so evident, at the same time so secretive. It is evident. I am there. I have my experiences, my awareness. I am knowing everything. At the same time, it is so secretive that I do not know what is that awareness. People have found it difficult to explain it. And it is difficult to explain using words. This is a shift of identity from the individualized experiencer to the awareness where there is not even individualized person is there. It is not that it is something which we are going to produce by effort. We are already that. But because we are holding on to the individualized in being, we are being kept at that individualized level. Who can save us? Only we can do that. The dropping of that ego or the individualized. See, the word used by English translation is ego. I don't want to use the word ego because it has got a very negative connotation. That is why I keep on saying the individualized identity. That individualized identity holding by the awareness for transactions in the empirical world is the reason why we are all feeling the limitation and the identities as the individuals. So do not we have the right or the potency or the capacity or the, nature to know what we are in reality? Yes. From the empirical point of view, you have the right to know that. But from the absolute point of view, You don't have to have any right or agree because you are not separate from it. It is in that awareness you imagine that you are a individualized entity. Then you have your waking dream and deep sleep as an individual. And that whatever goes in that waking dream and deep sleep, day, time, month, year, age, all the events which is happening, we assume it is happening to us as the individualized. It is not to us that these things are happening. It is to the misidentified or wrongly, associated, individualized entity which is going through all this. We are not that. We are the one which is knowing that I am an individualized entity. That knowing principle which knows that we are the individualized entity is what we are, not the individualized entity. But how do I get out of the individualized entity? You don't have to. Only what we have to understand and realize is that the individualized entity is not a reality. It is a reality if you are associating with that and experiencing the waking dream and deep sleep. But when you know that that is a content in your knowing, the knower of that cannot be the known. This can become a conviction only if you practice it in every experience, associating ourselves with the experiencing principle, not even the knower, known, or the knowing. That is for the individualized part of it. But we are the awareness which is beyond that three states of knower, known, and the knowing. Every experience, we should practice it. Whether it is emotions, feelings, thoughts, physical, mental, intellectual, day, night, all the time, every experience as the individualized entity, we should disassociate with that. That is the time when we are become the real non-doer and non-enjoyer. We become mere witness, or we are the awareness in which it is happening. Can't even call us a witness. Because something which is really happening, then we can say we are witnessing. But what is appearing, and when we know it's an appearance, there is not even real witnessing for it.
Yeah, thank you, Bendo. May I ask one more question?
Sure.
Part where you spoke of dropping the identity, misidentifying who we are. And you even said this is only 5% of it, but it's an important 5%, I believe, right? So it's like when Mirage is talking about this, he says there has to be an earnestness, right? And so that earnestness, I had to look at that. And that this is a very focused intention to see, right? So he's saying there must be a focused intensity to see the identity and all of your actions. He says he even uses this term. I'm going by memory here, but he says you need to look well, right? So when you said that we have to know that the identity is not real. The only way that we would be able to tell it's not real is to see it clearly, which is 1880, right? We're seeing what we think we are, right? So this must be seen clearly as a non-reality, but it has to be seen before you will start to see that it is not real due to the suffering, right? So while it's only a small fraction, like you said, it is a focus on what you're not, right? It must be done so that you can clearly see how the identity is creating your reality, which is false. Did I ask that question right?
Yeah. I will tell you one thing. You are in a very bad dream and suffering the whole, the misery in that suffering and that dream. Physically, you are crying and wriggling in the bed. Somebody seeing that, either your partner or your wife or your father or mother or brother, somebody seeing that comes, shakes you and wake up from the dream. The moment you woke up, it didn't take even an iota of a second for you to drop the reality of the dream into unreal. But you had to wake up. You had to shift your identity of associating with the dreamer to the waker. It didn't take time. But at the same time, the moment you became the waker, everything became so ridiculous and ephemeral that you are internally feeling ashamed about yourself that you were doing this wriggling and crying in the bed. Why? Because you still associated the physical body going through the dream, experiencing the dream and the body reacting to that, all as your experience, the individuality. That individuality is being held in the dream and in the waking. But the experiencer as the dreamer and the waker, there is a difference. But you didn't drop your individuality. That is why the suffering in the dream, which would have triggered due to the sum of the memories from the waking, added by some imagination, etc. But even that, after waking up, you are not released of the idea of the individuality. So what happens is that we need to look toward the individuality spot in us. With what individual capability or potency am I doing every action of mine, every thought of mine, every feeling of mine, every reaction of mine? If you start inquiring into yourself on that, this individuality will keep running away from us. Because it's not a reality. So it's just like chasing a shadow. It is not real. At the same time, it is there because you cannot say the shadow is not real, because the shadow is real because the one which is causing the shadow is real. That is exactly the reason the individuality is felt as real, because The one which is without the individuality is more real, and that is the reality which is only there. But the shadow of that, when assumes the role of a human being, the individuality of the human being, all experiences of the human being, appears to be real because the fundamental reality is transferred from the one to the shadow and beyond. So when we look at the whole relationship between us and our identification as the individuality, but don't you know that your identity as a in human being, as an individuality, with the name, whatever physical form you have, the location, the relationships, everything, all of them are a content in your thoughts, emotions and feelings, which is aware by the individual, which is not the ego. But the ego or the individuality associates with that, then it becomes the break. I don't know whether it makes any sense for, to me to go on, because I may be repeating it again and again, because it forms a loop virtually. And unless we get out of that loop, to look at the loop, it cannot be seen. I hope I have answered your question.
Yes, thank you, Bendo. You have.
Namaste, Srini.
Namaste, Binduji. Binduji, I just wanted to, because we are in the right place, it's at the Gita, just explore more on the Nirvikalpa Samadhi and the Atma Jnana, the comparison and contrasting between those two things. And I was thinking, which needs to be first? Because sometimes it feels like yat chitta ramate, uparamate, chittam uparamate, that kind of shloka. It is said that sometimes it feels like the prerequisite to the jnana is nirvikalpa samadhi. But if we generally see the order of Gita, the second chapter itself, like how it has been progressing, it seems that the Atma Jnana is a it needs to be prior to even doing this dhyana kind of thing. So how can we put it? Is it possible to put it in this? Because I think sometimes it is like they both have to come together somehow, kind of feeling also it gets. So is there a clear sequence or something that we can put these things, either one before the other or something like that?
See, the very notion that Atmajnana is an event and it has to precede or succeed is the wrong assumption with which you are starting. Atmajnana is here and now, and what you are knowing and what you are is that. In that only everything is there. You are the awareness in which even the meditation will take place. You as becoming a meditator, trying to do meditation and achieving Nirvikalpa Samadhi, everything is happening in that Atmajnana only. Atmajnana is not separate from what you are. There is no non-Atmajnana which is separate. Every aspect of that is why the Pratibodham I was explaining in the last class. Every experience of us is telling us we are the awareness. Yet, we think we are the human being. Then I need to do the meditation. Savikalpa, Nirvikalpa, Samprajna, all those terms which have been coined and formed for the beginning stage becomes the impediment for a real seeker. You don't need Atmajnana because you are already Atmajnana. But only thing is that Jnana is Atma, is what is not known. Jnana you are aware. Atma you identify with the individuality. That is where the mistake lies. The Atma, the self or the I, is not the individuality. It is in that knowledge or awareness, everything is your every experience. Pratibodham, every experience. The experience of human, the experience of all related roles which we play in life, the waker, the dreamer and the deep sleeper, which includes, which when put together becomes the totality of our experience. All this are happening where? In the jnana, in the knowledge, in the knowing, in the awareness. Whether you call it as consciousness, knowing, awareness, those are all terminologies. I don't really, depend upon any one of them. Nirvikalpa Samadhi is when you are not able to do the Pratibodham. And what you are achieving in the Nirvikalpa as the word suggests, is only saying that it is a, what you call, vibration-free mind, or a mind which doesn't have any thoughts. Doesn't mean that in that you are becoming aware of the awareness. Because there is still the meditator feeling that I am meditating and I am now achieved a state of stillness in my mind. That individuality has not gone. The ego individuality is the reason why we are not able to know that we are awareness. I hope you understood the difference between the two.
Yeah. So one thing I wanted to ask is, because somewhere in one of the shlokas we also saw that because the samadhi vyudhana cycle is going to keep going without atmajnana, right? So isn't atmajnana like a breaker of that cycle, that this samadhi and
No.
vyudhana? No?
No. Atmajnana is always present there even when the Samadhi Vitthana is going on. And in the Samadhi Vitthana, or the meditation and getting out of the meditation, you are only going to train your mind to look at the very source of all experiences. Because just doing Samadhi and Vitthana will not take you anywhere. You need to do the Shravana Manana Nididhyasana to graduate beyond the meditation. Meditation is only a kindergarten, I would say. But beyond that, unless you do the Atma Vichara, or the inquiry into the nature of the knowing, Ihacheta vedi atasatyamasti, na cheti ha veti mahati vinashti. That Ihacheti, Iha means here and now. it is the only reality. Then what is all this human experience? The world, the cosmos, and all the science and geography, history, everything human beings are chasing after, including the artificial intelligence. All of them are nothing but product of the mind. Somebody's mind produces something which is made available to others. So it becomes an object of interest. And without mind, nobody can produce anything. So these are all mental outputs. But when we become dependent upon them, it becomes a reality. Just like we became dependent upon our physical body for all experiences, therefore we thought our physical body is a reality. But all experiences are nothing but awareness. We don't see that.
Yeah, Vidyaji. And one small thing I wanted to add is without the Chitta Uparama, is the Shravana Manna Nididhyasana even possible? That seems impossible, right? What do you or how
No,
do
that's not possible. Yeah, you need to practice and train your mind to be quiet and intellect to be steady in the inquiry. It is the intellect ultimately which is the pole which is going to take you across the bar in the pole vault example. So the intellect has to be steady and it has to become straight. That is the time when you cross over.
Yeah, so
Same way here. Yeah, go ahead.
that kind of becomes a prerequisite, right? Then the Chitta
Yes,
Uparama. So that
right.
is where I was thinking which one to put before which one. So, but still, as a paroksha jnana or something, you can still get like we have the sequence from 2nd chapter, 3rd chapter to 6th chapter, right? Now we still get some paroksha jnana from the 2nd chapter, and still use this Chitta Uparama and actually can change that from paroksha to aparoksha, something like that is going to happen. Is that's the order I'm thinking how that is going to happen?
No, the paroksha jnana will drop off. Aparoksha jnana will not take place. It is already there. What is going to happen is that the paroksha jnana, which is dependent upon the indriyas and the mind and intellect, that dependency on those instruments, when it is no more there, at the same time, you are fully conscious of the substratum in which all these things are happening, or the awareness in which you are knowing these things. That is what you call as aparoksha jnana. But that is there even now. But we are concentrating on the what you call waves. We are not seeing the ocean.
Yes, thank you, Bindaji. Thank you for the answer.
Thank you, Sri. Both Jesse and Jay had raised their hands,
I think Jay is up.
but
Jay is up. I
not come.
think I can see Jay.
Jay, sir?
He is up. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Binduji, namaste. Long time.
Namaste, Jay. எப்படி இருக்கீங்க?
அருமை.
நல்லா
Life
அருமையா
is
இருக்கீங்களா?
நல்லா இருக்கு. Yeah. Yeah, I was a bit busy with learning and personal lives tornadoes. So
Okay.
now, yeah. And also for
Good.
like in many decades, I don't know whether I'm getting older or I'm getting better knowledge. my questions are minimized. So today I would like to take this opportunity to ask a couple of questions, Vendoji. This is also, I think, mainly because of learning only. This problem is because of knowledge. Okay. The mind is having this cognitive dissonance, which I'm struggling to understand. So, in Advaita, the only place the thoughts or the mind or the separative personality can go is to stay in the space in which the thought appears and disappears. That's the only thing it can do, if at all, if it can do any one thing. Otherwise, going outside in the world is corruption. Or it is like chasing the mirage. Chasing the Maya, you go wherever you are, it is not going to be fulfilling. The personality will always be unfulfilled and lacking, and it will keep on searching. So going outside, I'm mostly ruling it out. But what I don't understand is, in Advaita, they say this staying in stillness, not going anywhere, and trying to look at the space in which the thought comes and goes, is that, or it is the starting point to know that both the physical universe and this representational universe is created and run by. Unfortunately, from the past 4 or 5 years, I've been learning and taught to separate the physical external world and the internal world. Like the 4 parts are there here, no? Like the internal mind and the external world. So I come back to this question, okay, if I stay in this space in which this thing appears and disappears, in this stillness, but then who is running this physical universe? Because it is strongly ingrained in my mind, this antakarana, I mean the internal instrument and this external instrument. So even if the internal instrument stays with the emptiness, the space, the nothingness, the stillness, what is the story of this physical external universe? And what I'm hinted at is that one singular thing which runs the internal thought structure is what exactly runs that external physical universe, and it is that. So I most probably know that I have to drop this whole caring about this physical and external universe, because there is nothing I can know about this physical external universe without my antakarana. So the problem is in antakarana only, solution is in antakarana only. But still, how do I tell myself, don't even worry about this physical external universe, Binduji?
Jay, the question which you are asking, as in the beginning you said, you are becoming old or you are becoming knowledgeable. The standard saying is that a person who has got questions are the person who is following the class, following the teaching. The one who has not understood anything can never ask a question. The one who has understood fully has no questions to ask also. So the person in between is the one who is asking, is probable to ask the question, and that questions are not out of place. This is what we call it as the impediment in knowing the truth. Ajnana, Samshaya, Viparya. That is the 3 terms which we use in the terminology of Advaita. So this is the Samshaya which you have, or the doubt which you have. Your question was external universe and internal experiencer. What definition will you call for reality? What you will accept as reality? The standard explanation what is given in Advaita is that which never undergoes any change. Any change means space, time or causation. Nothing can affect that. because basically the changes are in the three realms only. Otherwise there is no change. Yadna vyabhicharati tat satyam. That is the way in which it is said in Sanskrit. That which does not deviate or change is the truth. Now, you can know the reality of anything absolutely only when you are in a place or you are the one which is anchored in reality. Then only you will know the changes which is happening. But to know the change, you have to be a changeless one. The relative changes which are happening in the external world is not understood as change. Sometimes we accept it also as a reality. But the real first place where you can know that changes is when you are anchored in the changeless one. Now, whether the external world is changing or not, if I ask you, you said in your own words, it is ever changing. The world is always in a state of flux. You can never know the fullness of that world also because it's ever expanding or whatever. The internal world, which is the thoughts, emotions and feelings, are also changing. So that also is to be taken as part of the external world. External to what? You can say external to from the point of view of the experiencer. Now, when you divide this externality and internality, there is a problem. Where will the external person, the external world you are keeping one side, the no experiencer as a person, which you have now been referring as internal. Now that experiencer need to be placed somewhere external to the changing world. Can you locate a place where this experiencer exists outside the changing world? If he is outside the changing world, then he cannot have experiences. He can only observe it. When he is observing, he is not experiencing. An observer doesn't experience. It is just being present. At the same time, there is no take on the side of the experiencing which is going on. Either likes, dislikes or anything he can't say when he is outside the experiencing. So what happens? We cannot deny that the experiences are independent of the experiencer. If he is external to the, what you call the environment of experiences, which clearly tells us that he is part of the system. So experiencer, experiencing and the objects of experiences, which can be emotions, feelings, thoughts and objects, etc. He is part of it. So there is nothing called external when it comes to the part of experiencing, when we take the experiencer, experiencing and the objects. Then the question comes. Then the question comes, Jay. Where is this whole thing happening? What are the ingredients which makes the experiencer, the object of experience, the object, and the relationship between the two? If they are independent and not connected, then there cannot be an experience. The experience is basically the experiencer and the object of experiencing being present in the same environment and interacting. That interaction is known as the experiencing. But they need to be in a single environment. If they are in two different environments, it cannot happen. So all experiences you are having as J and all the objects which are being experienced by J is in one environment. Whether you call it a space or, environment, doesn't make a difference. But the experience and the object for the experiencer has to have one quality which are present in both of them. Otherwise, it will be like water and oil. You can never have you may have an emulsification of it, but at the same time, it is still not one, like a milk and water. This condition which links between the experiencer J with the world of experience of the whole environment is acknowledged by the experiencer J as I am knowing it, I am experiencing it, I am tasting it, touching it by the five sense organs and the mind. And the five sense organs and the mind per se are inert in its own way because they cannot function unless J is willing to operate through them. They are mere instruments for apprehension or for the perception. So what happens is that when J becomes the experiencer and trying to experience an object, technically J, being the person who is going to be aware of the whole interaction, is extending the awareness from J through his mind and sense organs to engulf the object. And you are not knowing the object, but you are only knowing the measurements through your five sense organs. You may see the form, the name, the color, the sense of touch, the sense of taste, only all those things. But the object has got something called its own entity. That J can never know when he is separating himself as an experiencer and trying to know the world. This is why where we have a problem in all our experiments and all our understanding and knowledge. It is devoid of the true knowledge of any object because we don't become the object. You are knowing your dream experience and the dream world because the waker has become the dreamer. The waker is not observing the dreamer. But in the case of a knowing of an object, we do not become an apple or an orange to know what is to be an apple or what is to be an orange. Therefore, the world appears to be external to us. This is the reason why we are having the externality, because we are using instruments only to measure certain aspects of it. This is where Vedanta is coming into the picture, saying that there is only one thing. The existence and awareness is present in the object, which is the same as yours, as experiences, existence and awareness. And this is the common thing which is available in the object and the experiencer, because of which the interaction is happening. But since we use tool in between, we get limited without knowing the instrument. But we don't use a tool as a waker when we go to dream. We become the dreamer. So the difference between the waking and object knowing and experiencing in a dream is showing us that it is our incapability to become an object is the reason why we are having the individuality as I am the knower and the world is an object for me to be known. And this can be overcome only when that individuality is lost, which is we are upholding for our own, what you cannot say survival, our own authority. That as I am a individual person who has this quality which we developed our memory. And that is what I was explaining to Brett. That individuality, when we dilute, dissolve, then every object is seen as extension of myself. I do not see the object as the object like today I am seeing it as an apple as different one. I don't have to eat an apple to know an apple. When I do lose my individuality. Individuality in the sense of separatedness as ego or what you call it. This is what the Upanishad says, where you do not see the difference between everything is one. There is only one existence awareness, which is the reality. The moment you separate from that as an individuality or as individual person or a human being, using your sense organs, you are bringing limitation to yourself. You are eternal, unlimited, infinite, changeless nature, what you are. But you decided to become the limited individual. Nobody can help you to get out of it other than yourself. And that help has to be from within. It cannot be forced upon you or brought upon you by others. The scriptures, the teacher, and your teaching, your learning, and everything can help you. But you have to decide to not to become anymore that limited individual.
Thanks, Binduji. This actually surprisingly clears my main question, that it is only because of this thought-made representational entities point of view inside and outside exists. This question I had, this strong anchoring point of view I had for so many years, so this internal and external, this has actually most probably completely destroyed it. I believe this question won't come again. While doing that, actually you answered another bigger question of mine from many years I had in Advaita journey. You answered that, and actually my doubt got cleared, and that doubt, which is actually a bigger doubt from many years, is even beginning from Nisargadatta Maharaj, they say one of that quality of that wholeness is that it is changeless, it does not change, and that's what, and it does not have any quality and all those things they say. So while you're talking now a few minutes ago, to know the changing, one has to be changeless. That is a primary quality. If something, both physical external world and the internal antakarana, everything is changing, if at all, there should be something true and timeless and not limited by anything, that has to be changeless. That should be its primary quality, a basic requirement. Because if everything is changing, then how can I even comprehend anything? Where the hell do I even anchor? There is no place for this thing. So I had this question from so many years, why is this people saying it has to be changeless? 10 minutes ago, you touched upon this point and it became very clear to me, because everything is changing. If at all I want to know something, the real thing, that real thing should not be changing by definition. And it should not be in time, because of time, everything is changing. And so it should not be in time, primary quality, and it should not be changing, because it is that which sees this changing. And because of that, all these changing things are possible. That thing also, as a bonus, it got clarified to me, Bindu, now. And
Okay.
while both were getting clarified, I'm a bit visual person. What was running in my mind was, it is like this illusionary personality is already in this infinite space in the sky, which is also it is undefinable. Then I'm putting one steps. I decided to go, okay, I have to climb to this space or the sky. Then I put one illusionary step, which is, okay, this internal, external, what is this conflict? And you come and destroy that step. And I put another step to climb upon to go to the space. And that step is why do they say changeless? Then that step also you destroyed. I am hanging in the infinite sky, nowhere to go, no questions to ask. And it also shows the foolishness of all these, even spiritual searching. Okay, I want to understand this, I want to understand that, I want to know that. Every illusionary step onto the sky which I want to climb upon, I'm putting, you are coming and destroying. 2 strong steps you are destroyed today, Binduji. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay.
But I can still continue. I can dig myself deeper and search for any questions, because I know they will pop up later. As there is nobody else also, I want to make use of this opportunity. So Binduji, I was little bit struggling earlier about this nomenclature, and you have answered many times, but still I want to be very clear. About people say be conscious, being conscious and being awareness is the only thing you can do in the deep spirituality. And there is lots of terminologies about being conscious, consciousness, awareness, right? So I would like to know, can you name these few key terminologies which represents the be conscious and consciousness and awareness in Sanskrit, so that I can come back and refer these words or stay with these words if I have any questions. Sorry, before you start,
Yeah,
the reason why I'm asking,
go ahead.
is also because from whatever 4,000-5,000 years, multiple masters pointing to the same truth from multiple background, multiple languages, multiple economic background, multiple educational knowledge, the way they use the words and all. There is so many people pointing about only one thing, that changeless, timeless, qualityless thing, which is on which even the thought appears and disappears, even this whole universe is running or not, right? That is actually a little bit confusing and painful for any of the seekers, because that teacher is saying this word, this teacher is using this word, and some teachers say first you should go to consciousness, and from consciousness only you can go to awareness. And many people say conscious and awareness are interchangeable words. So for me, from like many years, this is a struggle. I want to anchor to one precise exact words, whatever it means, and I want to stick with it. So from that point of view, can you give me this key 4 or 5 terminologies I have to stick? Because I think Sanskrit is where it all started and staying. English is confusing and people mean whatever they want over time. So can you give me 4 or 5 core words which represents actually mainly two, awareness and consciousness, or maybe a couple of more if you think they will be useful for me?
See, Jay, don't get confused by the terminologies. The language in which one is comfortable, he should derive his comfortable word which makes sense to him. For example, consciousness, awareness, knowledge, knowing, everything is there in English. Now, if you ask me Sanskrit, I can say bodham, prajna, jnanam, prajnanam, vijnanam. All those things are different words. But since I know your language and you are from Tamil Nadu background, எதனால உனக்கு புரியுதோ, என்ன புரியுது இல்ல, எதனால உனக்கு புரியுதோ அது ஏதுன்னு தான் கேட்கணும். Means that with which you become the knower. You can knower of all experiences. That with which you get to be called the knower. That nature with which you say I am the knower now. That is what is important. Whether you call it as consciousness, awareness, knowing or anything. It may vary according to the people or the explaining, the one who is explaining. If you are able to focus from I am knower to that which makes me the knower. I am not talking about the object. Objects are changing. I am taking the changeless aspect which is always there for all your knowing, which makes you the terminology, the knower. But you are not the knower. Because it is there and there the object is there, you call yourself as a knower. But without that also, that nature with which you are becoming a knower for all your experience, which is changeless, that is what is called consciousness, awareness or knowing. in Sanskrit, the best word which you can use is bodham. That is why pratibodham means every experience.
Okay, thanks, Binduji. But still, I believe I want to, as Newton said, like whatever I learned is standing on the shoulders of the giants. I and especially in Sanskrit, they've achieved this like Mount Everest level of height. I thought of standing on the shoulders of all those spiritual gurus, at least from the mind point of view. Obviously, that is nothing to do with. And to extend this also, Binduji, see, you said a few minutes ago, this understanding, realization, or this deep insight has to be done by one person only. Like it has to come by the inside. No outside agencies, outside influences, outside gurus, they themselves cannot come and brainwash anybody to know themselves. Okay. See, this, I have a question related to this. But why? Outside agent, like even for Nisargadatta Maharaj, randomly his teacher was working somewhere to somewhere and he dragged him and said, hey, look, you are that only. And then Nisargadatta Maharaj, who was just a small BD salesman, he did not have any spiritual background and all, that those words transformed him. Right? So, it is not, so I have question in both sides. A real guru can find out the real, actually, I don't think Nisargadatta Maharaj was not even a seeker. He was just minding his own business in some corner of some village, and this guru comes and transforms him. Okay, see, that is one point of view. And second point of view is, if Jay is a illusory personality, what the hell transformation can Jay bring, Binduji? That's nothing the personality can do, no. So I don't understand your statement that it has to come from the inside, from both point of view. From Nisargadatta Maharaj's teacher's point of view also, the statement doesn't look valid. And from my point of view also, if Jay is an illusion, what can this Jay do? So both the points of view, your statement is not clear to me. Binduji, can you elaborate?
Yeah. The lion from the dream can scare you and wake you up from the dream. The lion is not real. The dream is not real. But you woke up with a fear of a lion. Same way, the Jay, which is asking this question, is not real. And what he is asking for is the reality which is not Jay. It is the reality in which the Jay is appearing. So, this has to be done to the apparent Jay by something as a guru or a teaching has to do the certain thing. Then only the Jay, which is the apparent Jay, can realize that he is an appearance. If Nisargadatta Maharaj got the knowledge by a statement of his guru, that did not happen because he heard the guru. That statement was only a trigger. The real meaning of that was really the inquiry of what is the real meaning of this statement from the guru. If he had not done the nididhyasanam on that, that is the conviction on the statement of the guru, he would not have transformed. He had a faith in the guru. And the statement had a meaning. So when the guru said a statement, he wanted to absorb the meaning, for which, being a person who might have had the, what you call, preparedness, it didn't take time. Now, the same thing happens to us also many times in our day-to-day experience. Things which are known to us becomes momentarily unknown to us. And something triggers, and then we remember about it. That what trigger takes place for us to remember, what which we already had a knowledge about. We do not give importance to such events in our life. But there are many such incidents which are happening to every one of us. It can be forgetting about a car key, or your, some number you want to dial, or some friend's name, or your friend's wife's name, or friend's child's name. Something you may not remember, but something will suddenly trigger it, saying, oh, I know, now I remember. You say that. That means the knowledge was present in you. All it was required was a trigger. The same thing, what we are is already what we are. Nobody need to tell us. But we do not know who we are. We think that we are what we are experiencing as. So, the scripture, the teaching or the guru, when he explains, apply your intellect to differentiate between the knower and the known. That one statement is enough. Or as the Upanishad says, when the Upanishad says that you are that awareness, that one statement is enough for people. But for the Upanishad itself in Chandogya, the father had to tell the son 9 times, Tattvamasi Shvetaketu. Then only he understood that. Whereas for Nachiketas, that was not the case. It was only once it was required. Same way for Janaka, Yajnavalkya had to tell it only once. So that is why that it is a preparedness with which you are approaching that, and you are not achieving something which is produced or which is to be reached or which is to be created or manufactured. You are that this very moment. If you are not that, and if it is a product of time, guaranteed, it will be lost in time.
Thanks, Vijay. That's all from my side for now.
Thank you, Jay.
Okay, I thought this is coming to an end. I surely can. I got one more question, but I don't know how many minutes do we have. Prakash, how many minutes do we have for this session?
We have another 12 minutes, 13 minutes. Yeah.
Okay, then I will ask my next question. So even to continue the same thing, Bindoji, then how can this separative individual representational personality, which somehow random, I mean, some people are hearing this, and in some culture, none of this thing is told, like, be ambitious, make money, be rich, be famous is what people hear, and they go randomly, one in a million that culture also can hear this thing, or in some culture where this is part of their life, they can hear more. So what is this individuality can even do? This, because my question is like, how much effort should this individuality put? Because it could be in the wrong direction. If you put more effort in the so-called, even the spiritual journey, it might not happen, because from thousands of years, we know millions of monks across the globe, across religions are searching for this thing. And it does not seem that, they say that, yeah, I know this now. So there are millions of monks from thousands of years across the globe are putting so much effort, and surely many of them die without making this confirmation that, I realized, like few people like Buddha, Ramana, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, who clearly say, I know God, I can also show you God, right? So then putting effort itself in the right direction, it has to happen. Otherwise also, as we have seen for millions of people from thousands of years, it is getting wasted at the end of the day. So there is no chartered territory here, Binduji.
Jai, Jai can hear me. Okay. All those things what you mentioned, is it not your Waker experience? The thousands of monks and millions of life and all those things. The Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, the Maharshi, Bindo, Srini, Prakash, all those things can I include all of them into one set called your waking experience? Your waking experience is something known to you. You are not the waker. So, when you look at it, you can see it as an object of your experience. So everything what is happening is in the object, not in you. Your waking experience, you are not the one which is experiencing it. It is the one which is now as a waker making all these statements. But you are knowing your waking and the waker as you are the individuality as a waker. When you can stand apart from that and look at it. Because you know that you had a waking, dream and deep sleep. So the knower of the waker and dreamer and deep sleep cannot be one, the waker alone. He has to be the dreamer, he has to be the deep sleeper also. Or he has to be present in a waking, dream and deep sleep, yet separate from it. Then only you can really say that, all these experiences are not me, but my experiences. Or I am knower of these experiences. So all these million masters, millions sadhakas who are unsuccessful, all becomes part of the story created for the waker. You are not the waker. You are beyond the waking, dream and deep sleep. Tebhyo vilakshana sakshi jinmatroham sada shivam. That is what you are. Always the Shivam, consciousness. So, you don't have to worry about what the waker and the waking experience is going on. The dream and the dream experiences, you are not anyway worried about it. You are neither worried about your deep sleep. All with your worries are in the waking. So the answer has to be given to the waker, saying that you are not the waker. You are not Jay. Only if you are Jay, your questions have got a stand. You assume that you are the Jay. You are Jay in my waking experience. We are all sharing experiences as individuals in one waking. But it is neither my waking, nor your waking, nor Prakash waking, nor Srini waking. It is the consciousness which is experiencing the waking. And it is that consciousness which is appearing as Prakash, Srini, Jai or Bindu. So, you need to have the total picture of the waking dream and deep sleeper. And the fourth one, the Turiyam, is the Tebyo Vilakshana Sakshi. From the Turiya point, there is nothing. All is all nothing but expressions of that Turiya. Swabhava. It is the nature of awareness to be aware. But when we identify with the one awareness as Jai or Bindu, then we become the individuals. And Jai and Bindu, if you look at it, it is not the name or the form or the knower or the mind or the intellect. It is the knowing principle of Jai or Bindu which gives us our experiences. But your knowing and my knowing cannot be different. So we are all one in one knowing, and in that one knowing, we are thinking that we are separate. That is because of what we call it as Maya or Avidya. But it is the nature of awareness to be aware of. Namaste, Disha.
Namaste, sir. There is no question right now, but I think as and when I listen to you, I might have some questions.
Yeah, we don't have much time. We have got another 5 more minutes.
Okay.
Jai, did I answer your question?
Yeah, yes, Binduji. All of the 4 imaginary stairs I have built to reach the sky, you destroyed all 4 of them. Now I am hanging in the air, place to stand. Thank you. No place
Thank
to
you.
go. That's happiness.
Binduji, I have
Yes.
kind of a lead into that is, so the knower of consciousness is a refined form of consciousness, or can we use this syntactic separate awareness and consciousness? Where the awareness
It's
is the knower of consciousness.
better to separate. Better to
Okay.
separate it out.
Yes. Thank you.
I think we'll stop. Tomorrow we'll continue our Gita classes.
Sure, Binduji. Let's
What
do that.
time does this happen every day, sir?
Monday to Friday, Gita classes at 8:30 Indian time, 8:30 p.m.
Okay.
That's today's same time. And Sunday, I don't take Gita classes. It's a general question answer.
Okay. Based on what you
Perfect.
You can
taught
follow the
taught
room.
me.
You can join the room so that you get notification.
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you,
Yes,
Bindoji,
Prakash.
for putting that schedule very clearly out there. So Monday to Friday, 8:30 p.m. IST, Bindoji will be an hour of class and half an hour of discussion or question clarifications. The ongoing sessions are on Bhagavad Gita. We are on chapter 6. So if you want to listen to the replays of the earlier rooms, they're available either in Clubhouse as replays, or you can go to the Advaita Retold YouTube channel, where they are cataloged very clearly in different sections, because there are earlier sessions on Upanishads, Aparoksha, Anubhuti, and various other sessions. So you can see all the Bhagavad Gita classes categorized under one umbrella or one folder. The Apple Podcast and Spotify for users of those platforms, they are also available. These talks are available there. Or if you are interested in a reading material, a book has been published over the years of accumulation discussion with Bindoji. The book is penned by Artemisia, and the title of the book is called Imaginary Door. It's available on Amazon, and you can avail yourself a copy. A special thank you to everyone who attended our session today, and for those who came up and asked questions, again a special thank you. As always, I'm grateful to Bindoji and for holding this space for so many years
Yes,
now.
sir. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that this initiative has been taken. I'm so happy that I get a way to keep in touch with spirituality. So,
Certainly, yeah. You're welcome to join us in the house, and then you'll get, like Bindoji said, you'll get
yes.
notifications. But if you want to catch up on some replays, that will refresh your, if you're joining the classes, the best way is to do the listening to the earlier class to get the continuity, but also the deepening of the practice. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what Bindoji always recommends.
Yeah.
Okay, over to you, Bindoji. Thank you again.
Thank you, Prakash, Brek, Srini, Jay, and Disha for your questions. And to thank you to all of you who have been patiently listening. Tomorrow we'll continue our chapter 6 on the Gita class. See you all tomorrow. Hari Om.
Thank you.
Good night.
Hari Om.